Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I guess this is good news, man. Trump decided to agree to a 2-week ceasefire that will allow for Iran, Israel, and the U.S. to go back to the drawing board, try to figure out a way how to, handle their differences without killing millions of innocent people. That's anything that looks like that feels good to the soul. Unfortunately, I've been actually watching what's been going on with the genocide in Palestine, and I know damn well that these Zionists aren't going to honor any ceasefire agreement at all. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. They're going to say yes, and they're going to proceed to do whatever they would have done if they didn't say yes. That's just what they've shown consistently, and that's what Iran should expect. Expect it. Don't be surprised if they still bomb you guys. Don't be surprised. I don't wish that for you. Obviously, I wish the opposite, but I just know better. And everybody who's been paying attention as closely as I have knows better. People don't need to be trusted. It's not even a wonder if you should trust them. You most definitely should not. Like, this is one of those. This ain't one of them situations where you're like, man, I've seen these guys screw up, and I don't really know if I should trust them. They've gone back on their word a couple of times. No, we've been through this cycle at least 8, 9, 10 times. No, we ain't there no more. We're at the point where we're like, we know what to expect. We know how they move. And when it happens, none of us will be surprised. We hope you won't be either, because we're trying to warn you now. That's what this is. Don't trust them. If they say they agree to a ceasefire, just assume they're going to keep shooting. Assume they're going to turn up the heat and gaslight you in the process. That's exactly what you expect. You expect for them not to keep their word. That is the only thing to expect at this point. Anything otherwise is not smart. Not smart at all. But if they do happen to keep their word, and it's a lot of people who won't be dying tonight, I'm pretty damn happy about that. I don't know about you. So that's what's going on there. 2-week agreement to ceasefire. Iran's going to continue to control the Strait of Hormuz. I think the demand from America and Israel is to open the Strait of Hormuz. And I haven't heard anything in regards to that being the case. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, trusting these people is stupid. That's all I know. Paying attention to this genocide for the last 3 years. You trust them, you're a damn fool. That is literally all there is to say about that. Trusting them is equivalent to hurting yourself. If you like being in pain, trust these bastards. That's how you accomplish that. So yeah, that's why I tell everybody, don't trust them. But for the time being, we'll take the hope, you know what I mean, as it pertains to them not dropping nuclear warheads on innocent people. We'll take the hope. So that's kind of what it is. But if this were a situation where I had to like stand on guard, or let my guard down, or tell people it's safe to go outside in regards to those places they plan on bombing, or assume it's okay to go back to work in those power plants they plan on bombing, opposite. Absolutely opposite of all. Stay clear. Assume that there is no ceasefire agreement. That's the only smart thing to do. And if they honor it, cool. If they don't, at least you ain't gonna be caught off guard. These people are evil, pure evil. So, and naturally, in that same ballpark of conversation, the great Goy Defiant Kanye West is trying to do all types of shows in UK, and of course all of these Zionist publications are each and every day telling us of a new sponsor that's backing away because of Kanye's presence. It's just same old tired Zionist nonsense. It doesn't matter. The people are awake. See, that's the thing that's really starting to become clear to me. The human beings are not as asleep as they used to be. People are slowly but surely getting around to understanding, hey man, these folks are doing this is what's going on. Let's raise awareness. Let's start to unlearn some things so that we can be on the right side of things. And that's becoming more and more prevalent. I wish the me from 3 years ago, when I first started seeing this genocide and not seeing anybody even know what the hell was going on, or everybody just like hearing no defiance of Israel whatsoever. I wish I could go back and tell myself in the past, like, yeah, you're on the right track. Just keep using your voice. You're going to see the change slowly but surely. It's going to be slow. But 3 years from now, you're going to walk past a truck in Hollywood that's going to say, defy Israel, free Palestine. Like, that's something you just wouldn't see when I first started having these conversations on this channel. People are slowly but surely coming around to getting informed and then forming their opinions around what they see. And it's what we needed 3 years ago, but this is just what it takes. It takes time for America to wake up. It takes time for America to identify where they need to unlearn propaganda that's been in their skulls all their lives. And you know, I was meditating on this morning, thinking about how frustrated I am, thinking about whether or not we deserve horrible consequences for our silence. Do I believe that there are actually good people here enough to make it worth saving this place? And the truth of the matter is, I think everybody, for the most part, wants to believe they're good people. Within reason, not everybody, but like a good portion of people in this country who are silent to genocide would be unhappy if they were exposed to everything that was there. I think what we are as a nation mostly is people who are partially informed and heavily propagandized. And when you have those two things going, it becomes a situation where you're like a trained dog. You're trained to behave. You're trained not to say certain things. How do you tell a dog not to follow his training? You know, we've been trained never to defy our government, to think that it's the worst thing in the world if we were to suggest uprising. You know, like it's like we've done wrong for wanting change in our government other than to do absolutely and utterly harmless things in order to receive it. Absolutely and utterly harmless, like protesting and, you know, boycotting to a degree. Things that don't disrupt enough to make people who are doing evil stuff uncomfortable. We've been people have learned from previous situations in other civilizations where these circumstances went bad for the ruling powers, that they needed to heavily train and propagandize the people against harming them. I often refer to a movie called Demolition Day that was really prevalent in my childhood that represented what it is that I see there, which is a bunch of individuals who have been trained not to rebel even when rebellion is necessary. In that movie, one of the characters held his gun up but couldn't pull the trigger because of what was indoctrinated in his head. Despite he feeling it necessary to do so, he couldn't do so. And that's kind of what I see in all of us. This bunch of people who understand what's necessary but are trained not to meet what's necessary with the urgency and the actions that would be effective. You're trained. You think of yourself as a bad person if you do anything that otherwise is effective in removing fascism from your government. You just look at it and say, no, you're not going to do it. And you know it's training, because if a person tries walking in your home, you're going to use whatever weapon you have to defend your home. But as it pertains to same bad people walking into your country and rigging your government, you would do no such thing against those individuals, even if you feel it's necessary. And so it's just a training, man. Your mind has been propagandized to behave. You've been taught over many generations to stand down, even when it's necessary that you don't. Now, that training is very helpful when a government is in place, reasonably being humane and, ultimately doing what you voted it in to do. But if they're doing what Donald's doing today, the urgency necessary, we've been trained against. And it becomes a conversation where, because of the effectiveness of that training, whatever occurs could have been prevented if people were sharp enough and strong enough to work their way around that training. You pull his ass out of there. You go into that building, and just like he went into that building prior to being sworn in as president this past time, and you make things shake, and you put your life on the line to assure that you are effective in removing from those circumstances that threat. And so, I refer to when he and his individuals raided the Capitol building. I said something today online, and I don't remember how I worded it, but I made it work. It was essentially saying that every single action of aggression is a suggested means of stopping the aggressors. I don't word it that way. I think I worded it in a much more clear and defined way. But essentially, they're telling you how to stop them by way of what it is they're doing to others. Just like every accusation is a confession, everything they do to somebody else would work on them. And that is something that I'm starting to understand. What they think of themselves, how would they be tasked with stopping themselves? They've thought about this greatly. They embody an understanding of what they are and what would be successful in neutralizing them, and they're applying it to others as they do with everything else they do in projection and misdirection. But it's almost like a self-snitching in a way, because you're suggesting to others what would be effective in stopping you. This is what they do. This is exactly what they do. So as they continue to treat the Palestinian people a certain way, saying that there are no innocent people in Palestine and hurting all of their kids because they say that their kids are trained to kill Jews, what you come to understand is that this is what they think would work against them. This is what they believe would be necessary to neutralize them as the threat against humanity. Every accusation is a confession. Every act of aggression is a suggestion of how to stop them, of what would be necessary in order to effectively stop them, or at least what they believe would be necessary. And this is what I've understood paying attention for them for a little bit now. And I may have mentioned it randomly on one of my videos leading up to this point, as we've done many conversations walking down the same block in regards to the same subject over the last 3 years. I'm sure it's not the first time I've said this to you, but it's once again necessary I do, because I'm watching them engage in certain behaviors that I believe they believe would stop them if they were tasked with stopping them. It takes a monster to catch a monster. It said in that movie Demolition Man, it takes a maniac to catch one, as I refer back to that movie once again. I think they know exactly how to stop them. I believe they train their children from birth. In fact, we have proof. We've already seen footage of them doing so. But they train their children damn near from birth to be aggressive and hostile toward Palestinian people, and violent and indifferent to the suffering of Arab people. They put it in their childhood book, so it's not surprising to see a politician like Ben-Gvir lobbying aggressive and genocidal policies as a means of gaining political momentum for what I believe will ultimately be a run for prime minister. And I've been watching Ben-Gvir. I know a pandering politician when I see one. I know a pandering politician when I see one. This whole thing he's on, trying to lobby for the execution of Palestinian quote-unquote terrorists, that's slop. That is slop. He understands that the people lobby for that type of aggression, have been conditioned for that type of aggression, and he's playing to it. Not to say that he isn't a devilish terrorist his damn self, he is. But he's very, very intentional on pandering by way of that conditioning understanding toward those who are conditioned for that understanding. And I know what I'm looking at when I see that evil prick. He's trying to lobby for Netanyahu's position. I know it. And if you let an idiot like that take over, the world is not safe. You thinking Netanyahu's bad, you let that evil son of a gun get involved and start determining what happens next. You're going to see dead people all over everywhere in ways that you do not see right now. He's a different type of evil, and I cannot stress that enough. There are people in this situation worse than some of the figures that we see. I tell you that. Some of them people are a lot worse. And Ben Gvir is one of them. You let that man be Prime Minister of Israel, and you're going to see a different type of aggression. Because that dude is a very, very serious terrorist. Different kind of terrorist. And so these are things that I think American people and people who are not American need to be aware of, these characters and what it is that their character is. It's not just as simple as, oh, Donald Trump. Donald Trump got handlers. Donald Trump got the people behind him that are telling him what to say. And we need to know exactly who these individuals are. And we need to know exactly what is going to be required to make them go away. And we can't be afraid to do it. And we can't wait for other people across the water who are not indoctrinated with the quote-unquote training, behavioral training that we've taken on to do it. Because I tell you right now, these people are doing all of this under our dollar. They're doing this in our name. This is our dog that we let get out of control. And it's because of it our children are not safe, and neither are the next people across the waters. And when I start thinking about whether or not people like Iran and Lebanon and Palestine should give a damn about American children and American lives, I consider the fact that we collectively, effectively allowed for Donald Trump to get in office. We effectively allowed for Joe Biden to get in office. By way of what it is that we conditioned for and what it is that we allowed through that conditioning, we are culpable for letting our dog get out of control. This is equivalent to when you allow a dog to bite somebody else and they come down on you legally. That's your dog. That's your dog. Ain't nobody gonna look at the dog and say, oh, the dog's the only one in problem. No, the dog ain't the only one at fault here. You let that dog get out of control. You kept that dog off of the leash. You trained that dog to be aggressive. You forgot to feed that dog that morning and let him be in a bad mood when he came outside. So whoever that he bit after that is culpable. It's you. It's he is you. You. And so because of it, when I think about whether Yemen should be concerned with us or care about whether or not we get blown up, or whether Iran should give a shit if we get blown up, the answer is probably not. Because we collectively let our dog bite them. Our indifference, our selfishness, and our collective neglect is why they have the problems that they have. Because we have collectively, by way of what was conditioned for us, and ultimately our sour ways within that conditioning, allowed for things to be neglected to this degree. We did not storm that Capitol or whatever and get that asshole out of there. We did not impeach this bastard before he could do the damage he did. We did not go in there and do whatever we needed to do to assure our Congress wasn't compromised. And when I listen to individuals in different countries, they say, you guys are conditioned one way, yes, but you have more than us, and you're comfortable, and that comfort has left you docile, and that docile nature has left you neglectful, and that neglect is sin. You're waiting for somebody else to come and clean your room instead of you cleaning it yourself. You're waiting for somebody else to train your dog. You didn't even hire a trainer, nor did you commit to doing the training. So when the dog bites somebody, it's your fault. And that's essentially what they're saying. We ain't doing that. You don't see us allowing people in office that are devilish enough to fire it on your children and bomb your schools. You didn't allow we didn't allow ourselves to get so far out of hand that we voted somebody in that do these things, or allowed our sin nature and our selfishness to get out of control to the point where one of our individuals are doing this representing us? You did. You don't want us to blame you, or you gonna blame us? That's your dog. I do not blame any of my Iranian brothers and sisters, my Yemen brothers and sisters, Yemeni, my Palestinian brothers and sisters, my Lebanese brothers and sisters, all of whom are getting bit by my dog. I don't blame them for not feeling so bad about what happens to me in response to the dog ultimately biting them. I don't expect for them to have so much humanity and so much love for me when I had so much neglect for that dog and that dog pointed his vitriol at them. No. No. We let these damn Zionists get out of control. We let these devil worshippers harm children and acted like we didn't know what was happening. We supported their companies when we knew they was doing evil shit. Even when we didn't understand fully what they were doing, we understood some of it. We allowed our racism and our identity politics to put us first and allow for us to create the environment for which this apartheid nonsense could be seeping into our communities once again by way of these damn Zionist Israeli idiots. We allowed ourselves to be like this. We chose capitalism over humanity. We chose our own comfort and the proximity of our own concerns to be just at arm's length. Didn't care about what happened underneath us. Didn't care about what happened around us. And sure as hell weren't interested in what happened above us. And because of it, our dog is biting everybody. We should have cleaned our house, America. We should have been cleaning our house for years. When you saw them attacking black people, you should have cleaned your house. When you saw them attacking Mexican people, you should have cleaned your house. You should have made sure that you revolted against that nonsense and paid reparations to all the people that it ever hurt. Because you didn't, you allowed for an environment where it is fine to do this now. You shunned people for their differences and prolonged the humanitarian rights of various different groups in this land for so long, allowing people who were comfortable with the othering of people that did not look like them to run rampant and represent so much of what it is that we are for so long unchecked, to now we allowed that ignorance to vote in fascism and create the horrors that we're seeing. You didn't listen to people when they were telling you what was done to them. You didn't care because it wasn't done to anyone that you cared about. And now they're doing it to people on a grandiose scale, on camera, for everyone to see. It's because we allowed it to be. We allowed it. We allowed it. America, you allowed this, man. And that's been the theme all day on my channel. I do not expect our quote-unquote enemies to have any humanity toward us when we don't have any humanity toward them. When we watching their kids get blown up and all we can talk about is freaking gas prices. Watching little girls get blown up in school, going to school in the morning, not coming home. Bombs that are paid for by us. And all we can talk about is us. Nah, bro, don't expect people to care about your humanity when your ass is up under rubble, when you didn't give a shit about other people when they were under rubble, when their children were being dug out. Nah. Because there was about 2% of us who were actually using our voice, and the rest of y'all sat back, comfortable, you know, acting like you didn't see it, collecting your dollars, enjoying your pastimes, othering those people, and then going to church and saying it's good that you do. All this other stupid stuff that we've allowed to be culture here, man. It transpired to what it is that's happening today, where your president feels so empowered to threaten an entire society, an entire country of people to do his bidding, or he was going to kill them all. And you let these people in place who represent him use rhetoric that backs that up without snatching them off of those podiums and doing to them what ultimately needs to be done to terrorists. These people feel entirely too safe getting up here spewing genocidal rhetoric. And because we're so self-centered and so selfish of a people and haven't lost any of our own in regards to it, we don't see the urgency in pulling it into them doing so. But there's only 1 or 2 degrees from your suffering that all of this behavior that they're engaging in, neglectful and genocidal rhetoric that they're engaging in, that you're only there's 2 degrees away from your own suffering. Let it be American white children that are being pulled out from under rubble. All of a sudden, y'all gonna want to storm the Capitol. Storm this, storm that. You didn't give a shit when it was somebody else. You giving a shit is a preventative measure. Since you're so freaking selfish, it helps keep that situation from ever coming. Rather than letting it happen and you reacting to it, like ultimately you are coercing for yourselves. If you just gave a shit to stop it from happening to somebody else, it would have never tumbled forward to you. But you can't tell an American that. Because if it can't affect what it is I can touch or what I can see, if it isn't pulling away from what it is that matters to me, if it ain't eating away at my money or stopping me from watching my game or killing my favorite celebrity or whatever the hell it would be, then I don't care. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. And it's that culture that left our dog off the leash to bite others. Y'all neglected everybody who told you, yo, this is what happened, this is awful, they'll take it this far, they do horrible things to people. Don't be fine with this. Stop them from doing it to us. Nah, I ain't doing that. Nope. Gotta go to work. Nah, I got a job to keep. Nope. I got dreams to fulfill. I'm trying to buy property. No, you ain't getting away with my paying off my bills. No. Because if I get blackballed by these people, they're gonna shut doors on me, man. I'm trying to have certain things. I'm trying to be richer than the next man. I need what I need. I can't. No. Don't have them shunning me and pulling my sponsors. No. They can kill whoever they want to kill. Just don't take my money away. Just don't leave me outside. Don't take away my seat from the table. That's what y'all been on. And everybody in their own bubbles doing that collectively made for an environment for which our dog, again, is off the leash, biting others. So what's going on, man? And I'm the crazy one because I'm pointing it out. I'm the crazy one because I'm not docile in the presence of this training that we all have taken on, where we don't say anything ever. It's rude to speak out against genocide. It's rude to point out evils being done by people who happen to be in power. It's just so taboo. You're so afraid of looking crazy that you allow crazy things to happen. We're so afraid of looking like we're not behaving the right way that we allow ridiculously genocidal behavior to take place. We're so ashamed of what it looks like when we're being shunned by our friends that ultimately we allow other people to suffer. And I'm telling you, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for us when it comes knocking on our door. I'll be pleased with any humanity we're shown, but far be it for me to think we'll deserve any of it. none of it will have been earned. Because we allowed our dog to bite others. We allowed ourselves to be represented by irresponsible, selfish, devil worshippers. People who left children unsafe habitually at the behest of their own desires. People who didn't give enough of a care about people that didn't look like themselves at all. We let those same people stand in the pulpits and demand money from us and tell us we're not good people for not coming to church, giving them that money every Sunday. We value our reputation in their eyes more so than our international reputation across waters. Urgency neglected. I don't even feel sorry for us. As a person who's watching this, crying out for us to snap out of this and seeing very little of it, knowing what has happened to my own people, black people, Native American people, in the past, where it took us 400 plus years just to get freedom and another 100 years for that freedom to actually be realized. No, I will not feel sorry for you when what happens to you because of what it is you're allowing to happen today. No, absolutely not. The best I can do is warn you. The best I can do is talk about what it is I see coming. The best I can do is tell you, hey, don't trust them. Hey, this is what they're prone to do. It's the best I can do. I pray for you. That's the best I can do. Because the only person you care about is you. The only people y'all interested in is yourselves. You're worried about your numbers. You're worried about your people. You're worried about somebody who don't look like you coming in and screwing your daughter and having babies that don't look nothing like you and wiping y'all out that way. I promise you, that is not what you need to worry about, wiping your ass out. That's not what's coming for you. It ain't gonna get that damn far. You keep poking at all these people in the Middle East, and you keep poking at these Oriental people with these damn nukes, and you're gonna have something else that's gonna wipe your ass out. Believe me. We ain't gonna even get that far. You keep letting these drunken white supremacists, devil-worshipping children touchers, continue to represent you as a government while you sit back and continue to pay into that nonsense. And I promise you, it will tumble forward to you picking your children underneath rubble. I promise you. You keep letting these little hat demons continue to represent you internationally by way of all their Talmudic evil. And I promise you, the Palestinian fate will be yours. It is written at this point. It is inevitable. You want me to be mad at some Arabs who screaming death to America when all y'all doing is allowing them to receive death? That's all you doing is being comfortable with them receiving death. You mad at them for saying that. And you embody it with your indifference and your actions. You allow Islamophobia to go absolutely haywire while coddling the people who are doing this to those people as if they are victims of what? I don't know. And I'm supposed to be mad at some Arab person for saying death to America when we're actually bringing death to them. I ain't lost a single soul of my family or my loved ones to an Iranian nuke or a Palestinian nuke. They ain't killed none of my people. And I'm willing to bet they never killed any of yours either. Give that some thought. How many people have you lost to their intentions? While you're sitting here convinced that they're terrorists and that you need to protect yourself from them, how many people have they killed of yours? I'll wait. I'm willing to bet your American ass said none. Not a single one. You ain't lost nobody to a Palestinian. You ain't lost nobody to an Iranian. other than those who went to war to hurt Iranians and they defended themselves and might have killed some of your partners. And believe me, I've heard that story already. Well, I'm no friend to Iranian, they killed my friends. Your stupid asses shouldn't have fucking been over there. You should have left them people alone to their sovereignty, but you couldn't do that. Yeah, I heard that conversation. Oh, I'm not a friend to them because they killed some of my guys. Why they kill some of you guys? You were invading the country, right? Going over there looking for something that you had no business looking for on behalf of some people that didn't really love you at all? Yeah, you went over there, right? Pointing guns at them and doing all this evil stuff to them, doing all this aggressive stuff to them, right? You did those things, right? And what they do, defend themselves, and you lost some people, right? How is that any different than an aggressor coming in your house and you defending yourself? How's that any different? Why is that so unheard of? Like, oh my God, like, it's just the worst thing in the world for these people to be protecting their home from these terrorists that come into it. And all of a sudden, we're just like so morally just in hurting them in response to them defending themselves. It's absolutely and utterly hypocritical, man. And we need to stop allowing for this culture to continue to live in our midst, man. We have to stop this. It gives birth to pain that we haven't seen. And unwise behavior leads to unwelcome suffering. And believing your own lies leads to you being vulnerable to circumstances that are preventable as well. Just because you run around saying those people are terrorists don't mean that they actually are. You've lost nobody to their aggression. None. You allowed people who have hurt you to infiltrate themselves into your midst and convince you that their enemies are your enemies. That's what you've done. You allowed them who've hurt you, you even have evidence of them hurting you, to infiltrate into your midst, gain your trust some magical how, and hurt people with your dollar in your name. Hurt people who've never hurt you. You allowed your blind racism to have you measuring things completely backwards. And you've done it everywhere you really consider where to apply your hatred. Anybody you just leave alone doesn't hurt you. Specifically you, America. Anybody you just leave alone has no reason to harm you, don't want to harm you, ain't looking to take nothing from you, ain't insecure about the power that you wield. None of that shit. It's because you want to keep taking from the world everything you can and dominating the world like this is a fucking game. Is why people keep harming you, and whenever they do, it's in defense or in response to your ambition to colonize everything. To take everything over. It's why anybody would even have any anger toward you. Your greed has always been out of control. Your paranoia is birthed from that greed and the application of those measures that you're willing to do to others, believing that they were to be applied to you. When ain't nobody else like you, you're the only one like this. Nobody else is doing this. Just you. It's always been you. And now that all of us have come to realize it's you, what powers you to do this, how godless you are, how much of a liar you are. When the history is clear to us, we're not confused about what we're looking at. So there's no reason to be confused about how to handle you. That's where the world is starting to get to. That's where we're all waking up. We're starting to understand, yo, these people, hey, man. In a world that they don't exist, yeah, we should probably behave the way we are. In a world where they do exist, we probably got to take some measures differently against them so that we can get back to being free. Free. Of unchecked greed and unchecked ambition gobbling up all of the innocents anywhere it is otherwise safe. That's exactly what these assholes are trying to do. That's exactly what they're prone to do. And that's exactly what they've pledged to the enemy of God that they will accomplish by hook or by crook, sacrificing themselves and everyone else to accomplish his will on this earth. This is what they're about. Colonization is what it is that they do. It's what they do to assure that they're able to accomplish that. And we should not be celebrating any colonial efforts, not past and certainly not present, because it was all riddled in intentional domination of docile and otherwise peaceful people. That's all it's ever been, man. It ain't never been nothing else. It will never be anything else. It doesn't intend to become anything other than that. And I'm telling you, psychological measures, being weak to their psychological applications and measures and warfare is ultimately what enables them the ability to maneuver. When you understand their playbook and you know what they're doing, you know why they're doing it, you understand what they do in regards to words and applications of intentional gatekeeping and things like that, you stop caring about any of that. Now, I don't give a shit if you're blackballing me. I don't care if you shut down my voice. I will use it wherever I'm at. I'll find a new way to use it and continue to use it. Because you can't use that to silence me, to align with what it is that you're doing. Because each and every human being willing to do that enables for you, dog, to get out of control and bite people. Everybody adhering to your intentions upon us is ultimately what enables the environment for which you're able to run amok and do whatever you want. That environment needs to start maneuvering around you. And that is exactly what I represent. It's exactly what Kanye West represents. It's exactly what many others represent. The resistance to this nonsense and genocide, all of this is what they represent. It's the environment itself attempting to put a leash on the dog, if not euthanize that motherfucker. This ain't the time to be nice. This ain't the time to be politically correct. If anything, I'm mad at myself for being as nice and as politically correct as I've been. I should have been more brash with my behavior. Should have been more brash with my rhetoric. I should have been more intentional in painting this picture properly. I don't think I've done a good enough job. And I certainly don't think most of us have, along with me. And as a result, we've lost people. They've lost people. My Arab brothers and sisters. And I think about my black ancestors and Native American ancestors. We've lost people to this dog, man. A lot of his folks, his fake sophistication, and this fake representation of sophistication and representation of power. He's really just a cheater. A Joker spirit, a Jekyll spirit. Not to be taken seriously at all, other than to say that it can do a lot of damage if you let it to get out of control. But otherwise, it's not to be feared in any way. It's going to do what it's going to do. Either you're going to stop it or you're not. But you certainly don't adhere to it and cower to its scolding of your intentions to hold it accountable. That, at this point, with what it is that we understand, is sin. And whatever the hell it does in your behavior in that regard is your fault. At this point, when you understand what it's about, you understand what it's doing, you understand why it's doing it, anything that you do that enables it going forward after that understanding comes in play is your fault. And that's why we at with this Zionist bullshit. And that's where we at with this Jewish nonsense, coddling of Jews and all that stupid shit. Real Jewish people know what time it is. It ain't time to be coddled. It ain't time to be, what is victim? You ain't victim of shit. If you're a victim of anything, it's these demons that are representing y'all the wrong way. This ain't the time to talk about nothing. If there was a Holocaust, you better do your homework on what it was that ultimately allowed that to be possible. They were sacrificing your people. They were. They had deals with the Nazis. Don't be stupid. That's what I say to all my Jewish people. It's time to be strong. It ain't time to be sitting back saying, me. No, let the Zionists do that on your behalf. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stand with us. We're going to purge this shit out of your life and out of ours too. And you can get back to being good Jews. But until then, you're going to have to let us get this rhetoric off. It's just what's necessary, bro. And sis, it's just what's necessary. These people been evil, doing evil in your name for a long time. You let your dog get out of control. So don't get mad at us for pointing that shit out going forward. I represent my ancestors, and I represent the people I watched suffer in my phone over the last 3 years, man. I am not of this nonsense. And I understand and respect that if you do homework on my family, you're going to see a lot of people who fought for this country, who killed for this country. I am not that. I am not that. I think a win for my country is something different. I ain't fighting the enemies that they deem are their enemy. That is not what I'm afforded the understanding of what's going on there. If I want to win for this country and properly represent the warriors that came before me, it's not continuing to fight the wars that the demons above us are trying to have us fight. It's fighting them and taking back our dignity. If we ever had any, when you consider what we ultimately did to accomplish gaining this land. We never had any. We never had the moral high ground. We were never the good guys. Anything that ever happened to us from others was usually in response to something we did to them first. And anything that likely happens to us in aggression from others is because of what it is we've allowed them to do first. We are not victims. And won't be when what happens to us takes place. And we need to pick ourselves up and understand why we are in disgrace. It's because we let our dog get out of hand and bite others. And we didn't do nothing to stop it, nor do we take accountability for it. And that is why I'm speaking the way that I'm speaking today. It's why I feel the way that I feel. It's because I fully understand this. I'm not confused by this. I wasn't trained properly enough against thinking these thoughts like most of us were when we were raised in our churches, raised in our schools. I avoided those places and I think independently because of it. They didn't get to me like that. That's what you're seeing. They were only able to get me partially. And a good majority of the people in this country have been gotten fully. That's what it is that I know. A lot of us are trained or compromised by our ambitions to be successful based on the measures of man. Oh, gotta be famous, gotta be rich, gotta get my money. If I don't have my money, I'm not gonna get this. If I don't have this, then I'm gonna be shunned. If I'm gonna be shunned, then I'm not gonna have that woman that's gonna give me all this and that. And if she doesn't do that, then I'm gonna be out of control. It's like that type of weakness is what a good majority of Americans are dealing with. I'm not gonna have money. Oh my God, I'm gonna have money. Letting people starve, letting people die, kids being buried once again under rubble, burning alive. All so you can get your fix of money. Like fucking drug addicts for money. I'm so sick of y'all. Capitalistic parasites. That's what it is. I'm sick of you. The world is sick of you. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.